Hi, everybody. I am Stephanie Priest. I am the CEO and founder of Ignite Fitness and Kickboxing, as well as the Ignite Method. And I am super excited to be able to share today's video with you because it is something that I powerfully believe in. I believe that it's absolutely impactful. We have helped thousands of people come to their goals, come to achieving their goals through wellness and through lifestyle and sustainability, because we don't believe in deprivation. We believe that this truly is about being completely holistic in your approach to wellness and truly getting to the other side with the support of a team to help you along the way. So we are so blessed that we are able to share content with you. And today is very near and dear to my heart. Today's part 5, that's 10. I know that's 10. Part 5 of our hormone imbalance series. And this part, again, is very near and dear to my heart because it talks about relationships. So it's going to be a little bit more holistic than some of the other things that we talk about. But I think that it's really, really important to think about this and to begin some deep dives into how you're building your family and your friends and your tribe. The Ignite Method family is an absolutely amazing and supportive network of humans that really stand shoulder to shoulder, lifting each other up. And we are super grateful for that community. But that's really what we want to dig in today. So what I want to say first is think about this, that the sum of the parts of yourself are equivalent to the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So I want you to think about that. Who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? And when you think about those people, do you immediately smile? Or is there a part of you that gets a little bit anxious? Or is there a part of you that is like, yes, I have the best people ever in my life? Or are you like a mix of both, right? Not that one is right or one is wrong. I just want you to have that immediate knee-jerk reaction. So you're like, ah, or yes, or maybe I've got some work to do. So this is really impactful, and it's really impactful. I can tell you that I grew up in a family that had lots of struggles along the way. My mom was an alcoholic. She did the best that she could with the tools that she had in her toolbox, but growing up in that environment was often very up and down. There were good days, and the good days were really, really high, and the bad days were really, really, really low. And so I can tell you that shaped, first of all, who I am today. And I don't regret any moment of it, but it absolutely shaped who I am today. And it also helped me to identify the types of people that I wanted in my life. It helped me to identify who were examples in a good way, who were examples in not so great of a way, and how it is that I chose to live my life and who it is that I chose to surround myself with. So really think about that. Some of us have really positive, memories of our childhood. Some of us have a very mixed bag, and some of us have a very negative, memories towards that part of our life. But let's talk about this a little bit, because there's actually science that's developed around the tribe that you have built for yourself. So I want you to think about this. I want you to think about your relationships in a matter of fight or flight versus in a matter of like a balanced relationship. Okay. So when you think about relationships that you currently have, and you think about balance in your life versus fight or flight, right? There's science that's associated with that. So when you think about fight or flight, really what that is your cortisol levels are high, right? When those cortisol levels are high, your fight or flight is in motion, okay? When your cortisol levels are lower, that means that there's balance. We've talked about this a lot, okay? So when you think about the relationships that you have, I really want you to think about, are those relationships high levels of drama, which would increase their cortisol levels, which would mean that our body is in that fight or flight mentality, right? Or are the relationships that I have very supportive, very even keeled, which promotes actually the natural circadian rhythm that we have in our life. We talk about that, right? We want higher levels of cortisol in the morning. We want to minimize those cortisol levels as we go through the day. So that way we increase our melatonin. So that way we're in a nice solid balance, right? And when you think about that nice solid balance that you have in your life, when you have those relationships that increase levels of drama, some people call them toxic, right? But when you have those increased levels of drama in your world, those cortisol levels spike, but they spike at inappropriate times. So they don't follow that natural circadian rhythm that we have. And they lead us to an imbalance of our hormones, right? So I want you to think about that. This is a really great example. I'm going to use like real life example because I think that that's super, super important. Super important. Look, I'm like super supportive. I'm trying to like mix words together today. So when you think about your Facebook feed, okay, this is like an easy one, right? So I remember specifically when I started to build Ignite and the Ignite method and the Ignite community and the values around Ignite. I remember the day that I recognized that my Facebook feed no longer had all the crazies on it, right? Because I no longer had like the drama in my Facebook feed. My Facebook feed was actually filled with people who were just crushing life. Like they were just living their best life. They were sharing all the positive stuff. They were like doing all the things where I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It didn't have that negativity in it. It didn't have that drama in it. Then we fast forward to like COVID, right? And like, let's be really clear, in those periods of time, everybody was all over the map. So I try really hard not to judge, right, my fight or flight or my cortisol levels during that period, because we were all in fight or flight mode in a lot of different ways. But now we've returned to a level of normalcy. And again, my Facebook feed has now returned to that very solid, beautiful cadence of people just crushing. This is what I will tell you. During that period, there were people, and I say during that period, I mean in the period that we have built the Ignite Method family, the Ignite community, the Ignite fitness and kickboxing community. When we were building all of that, there were periods in my life where there were people that were not necessarily supportive. There were people that were not necessarily in my corner. There were people that upset my Facebook feed. And this is what I can tell you. I cut them loose. Now, not everyone is in that space to cut people loose, and I understand that. What I ask of you is that simply scroll through your Facebook feed. Spend 10 minutes, and I know, don't do it 60 minutes before bed though. So scroll through that Facebook feed, spend 10 minutes really looking and seeing what it is that comes up in your world. Now, these are not the 5 people that surround you, right? Like these are not the 5 people that you have in your life on a day-to-day basis that truly support you, that should be supporting you. But think about that. It isn't just the 5 people that support you. Because social media is such a big part of our world, we have so many influences from the outside coming in that fight or flight and those cortisol levels can be spiked at any time, not because of your drama, but because of this outside drama. And is that who you really want to be? And if so, totally cool. Have at a horse. You're just probably not in my Facebook feed, right? So we really want you to think about that. That's just a really quick and dirty way to figure out, like, what is it from an exterior perspective or an external perspective? What type of people do I have in my sphere? How is it that I'm managing the sphere of people around me? And are those really the people that I want to have in my sphere? And this is what I can tell you. I just unfollowed a lot of people, and that made my feed better, right? And it doesn't mean that I don't respect them or appreciate them in a different way. It's just that I don't have the bandwidth, nor do I have the energy or the time to see that negativity in my life, because I am just all about surrounding myself with people who are trying to be better every single day, like I am. So also in that vein, when you have people who are supportive, when you have people who are optimistic, you don't have fight or flight syndrome, right? You don't have high levels of cortisol, and just naturally you're promoting that rest and recovery, right? Just naturally you're promoting rest and recovery by following that day-to-day circadian rhythm that you're supposed to have. So when I think about how it is that the Ignite method was built and the Ignite method family was built, I'll hail back, or I'll harken back to how it is that we built the tribe that we had there. We focused on values. Raw was one of our values. Courageous was one of our values. Committed was one of our values. Mindful was one of our values. Judge free was one of our values. Beautiful is our final value. Every single one of those is extremely important because they help you stepping forward into the person powerfully that you choose to become, right? When we built Ignite and the Ignite Method family, we built it with those values in mind. And this is what I can tell you. When people don't have your same values, they will quickly move out of your sphere of control, out of your realm of individuals that you work with on a consistent basis, because they can't stand the positivity, right? They just can't. They live in those cycles of drama. So when you really have values, and those are the values that I have personally, and that is why Ignite is what it is, right? Because those are the values that we hold everyone to in that particular space, whether it be our remote space, whether it be here on our YouTube space, whether it be in our actual brick and mortar locations. Those people who don't have those values, they find that it's not for them, and then they quickly leave. So I'll tell you this, I had this amazing experience with someone. I was her coach. And she was in a really, really negative relationship. She'd been happy for a very long time. And she just couldn't seem to get to the other side of it. She was really struggling with everything in her life, with her mindset. She was struggling physically. She was struggling emotionally. She was struggling, in all the different ways. And it was because this relationship was such a negative relationship for her. And what ended up happening is she wasn't able to get to her goals because she had all of this negativity in her life. She had all of these like bad things that were happening in this relationship. And I don't mean like physical abuse, but it just wasn't a solid relationship. And that one piece bled into everything else that she was doing in her life. So she couldn't get to the other side because this one human in her life just kept holding her back. And finally, one day I said, you just have to cut it loose. Like send a text message right now, go meet the person in the park and be done with the relationship right now. And she did. And she's never been happier. And she started to hit all of her goals, and she has never looked happier. She's never looked more fulfilled because she had this like yoke around her neck. Like, I don't even know how else to explain it. And it was sucking every good thing that she had because all of her bandwidth was focused there. When she got rid of that yoke and really surrounded herself with the people who were going to lift her up, she just started crushing her goals, right? So when you think about it, I'm going to say this. I hate the word toxic. I just absolutely detest it, but I'm going to use it in a different way. Think about environmental toxins and what they do to your body. Think about nutrient toxins and what it is that they do to your body. It is the same thing with relationship toxins, right? So all of that stuff, if it is negative, it will impact every other piece of your life. Everything it is that you're trying to accomplish, everything it is that you're trying to do will be impacted. And it will be impacted not just because it's a mental and physical drain, but from a hormonal perspective. So tell me this, is it worth your health to have those people in your life? And if it is, that is your choice. But is your health worth that? Only you can make that answer. Right? Like only you can give that answer. Only you can be that person. I challenge you, I invite you to consider the possibility that when you think about the sum of those 5 people, is there anxiety that's associated with one? Is there an immediate association with one? With multiples? And if there is, what is it that you can do about it to be able to move forward? Thank you guys so much for listening. This is one of those that is really powerful and it is very impactful, especially as you guys are trying to move to the other part, like to transition into that journey. I know that this is very like a holistic one, but I absolutely love these. I think that mindset is the most important thing that we can do. Mindset has a huge impact on your hormones, right? So think about that. As I'm trying to get to the other side of my wellness journey, do all of the people in my network support my hormone balance? And if they don't, what is it that you can do? How is it that you can address that? Thank you guys so much for listening. We have this amazing Ignite Method family, this amazing Ignite Method community. Make certain that you subscribe so that way you're a part of this community. Check us out on Fit Free and Fabulous. It's in Facebook, Fit Free and Fabulous by Steph Priest. Check us out on our Instagram, Ignite_kickboxing, as well as Steph Priest. And if you love this, please, please, please keep on hitting that like button so that way I can continue to go ahead and bring you amazing levels of content. You guys have an amazing day. You know the drill. Take it easy. Don't be sleazy. Bye, guys.